Solving an absolute value inequality. Here are 3 examples. Each of them have very different patterns. For the first one, if you divide the entire size by 6, we have now the absolute value of x is less than 7. What does this mean? If it says less than 7 and you've isolated the absolute value, we are at this step right here. So if you had the absolute value of x is less than some a value, where a is positive, then what do you write next? Then you have to write this next. The opposite of a is less than x, and x is less than a. So that's where we are. We're going to write the opposite of 7 is less than x, and x is less than 7. And combining these, we could write negative 7 is less than x, less than 7. Part B, the pattern completely changes. It is completely different. For part B, if you have the absolute value of, let's say, x is greater than b, then you would proceed to write an OR statement. Then we would write x is less than the opposite of b, or x is greater than b. So there's not a lot of intuition here, but it does make sense. I mean, especially if you draw a graph on the x number line. So looking back at this, if it says less than, you write an AND statement. If you say greater than, then you write an OR statement. So some people will say greater, and then that way you remember the OR. If you have less than, then perhaps you could remember the word AND. So these procedures are completely different, and they are very dependent on previous patterns. Now we have the absolute value of x is greater than or equal to 9. Well, these are all the x values that are centered at 0 and that are 9 units away, well, at least 9 units away. So, 100 would work, right? Negative 101 would work. Negative 1 million for x will work. And you could kind of see that you could sound it out once you get to here, that the following step does make sense. You're going to write x is less than or equal to negative 9, or what? X greater than or equal to 9. Like I said, if you wanted to, you could see this by testing like negative 1,123. That's going to work. You're going to shade negative 1,123 on the x number line. The next one. Next example, if you subtract 23 from both sides, then you have the absolute value of x is less than negative 14. But what are all values of x such that the distance is less than negative 14? Well, this is nonsense. So this is not possible. And what do I mean by nonsense? This does not make any mathematical sense. This has no mathematical sense. So this is not possible. We shouldn't even be writing stuff like this. So we need to say no solution.